tighter security is just the tip of the iceberg.
An expert at UB says Friday's events will have long-term effects on foreign and domestic policy as well. News 4's Jen Shantz tells us more. Jen?
Don and Jackie, Dr. Michelle Benson says Friday's tragedy will undoubtedly intensify the fight against ISIS, but the United States' objectives should and likely will remain the same. When it comes to Iraq and Syria, Dr. Michelle Benson echoes President Obama and says there are limits to intervention at this point.
In terms of putting American troops on the ground, or even French troops on the ground for that matter, I think it is extremely, extremely unlikely.
She studied international security in France. Friday's attacks hit close to home for her.
I found it to be just devastating.
Now, French intelligence is determined to find all suspects and the mastermind behind the attacks.
The majority of them were European nationals, many of them of, Arab descent or Muslim descent.
Benson says it's important to note, while several of the attackers held fake passports indicating so, none of them were refugees.
What they were able to do was to hide within the refugee population, the population that was fleeing this exact type of barbarous act.
Unlike other known terror networks, ISIS claims to be a legitimate state. Benson says while their recruitment techniques are advanced, ISIS lacks support systems and the governing power to reach that goal.
ISIS's best case scenario is you're left with just a limited number of ISIS fighters in a completely desolated area, but in no way, shape, or form could that ever support anything that we would consider to be like an independent state.
It's one reason, she says, American and NATO allies will and should stay the course. When it comes to the U.S. primaries, Benson predicts legitimate foreign policy credentials will become more and more important following these attacks. In the studio, Jen Shantz, News 4 at 5.